They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Okay, to anyone who was able to watch the video yesterday, what I did is I went out there, live streamed, answered pretty much, I don't want to say all the questions, but as many questions as I could get to during that live stream. But I understand that not everybody can make it out to the premieres, not everybody can make it out to the streams. So I'm still going to be going down to that YouTube comment section and grabbing a few of your comments, screenshotting them, just putting them up on the video and breaking them down. So please, if you have any trade questions, just know that I'm doing my best to try to answer these. I mean, throughout the entire day, I answer questions on Patreon. Then what we do is we premiere every video every single day to make sure that anybody who's subscribed to the channel and has that bell hit can come out to that premiere, ask their questions. Then we go through, do live streams, then we go through and do videos like this. So please, guys, do not get upset if I did not get to your question. I'm doing everything I can here. But anyway, let's go through, let's get into this. And the first trade question that we are going to be going over is going to come out from eMoney, who is asking us, hey, should I be trading De'Aaron Fox for Zach Lavine in a 9-category league? Okay, so here I am so happy that you included the categories, because this trade would have been close if it wasn't for that, because we know Vucevic coming in, Vucevic is going to be taking away some of the usage in that offense. Then to go along with this, we also know with Lavine, he hasn't necessarily had a great past few weeks, and you add that he's dealing with that small ankle injury on top of it. Then we go over to De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox has been much better over the past few weeks than he was a few months ago. And what the difference maker is going to be here is, even though De'Aaron Fox is kind of heating up as Zach Lavine is cooling down, if you're looking at a category format, Zach Lavine is not only going to be giving you points, assists, rebounds like De'Aaron Fox will, minus the rebounds, but what you're also going to find with Zach Lavine is not only the great scoring across those categories, but Zach Lavine is going to have a very high field goal percentage and free throw percentage. And now, not only has he had a very high percentage in both categories through the course of this entire year, but Vucevic coming in, while yes, it may hurt him some in points leagues because he's going to be playing less possessions with the ball in his hands. He's going to be asked to do a little bit less whenever he's dishing it out. But because he is being asked to do stuff less, the defense isn't going to focus in on him as much, and Vucevic is probably going to be able to hit him open in a few areas. So here with Zach Lavine, I think that you have to go with him quite easily, and it's going to roll right into our next question. This is going to be coming out from Oscar, and this question is, should I be trading Jeremy Grant for Zach Lavine or DeAndre Ayton? And I want to break this trade down player by player. So before we dive into Lavine, because we already talked about him, actually, let's go over DeAndre Ayton, because pretty much you're asking us, hey, who do you want out of these three players, Grant, Lavine, or Ayton? And with DeAndre Ayton, yes, I know he was going at the top of fantasy basketball drafts, and I wasn't saying to avoid him. I did not mind anybody drafting DeAndre Ayton this season. But I was expecting a lot more than we got, obviously, with DeAndre Ayton. He has flashed. I'm not going to lie. But to all the Suns fans, to everybody who likes Ayton and sees the potential in him, which is myself included, DeAndre Ayton is not close to the fantasy basketball asset that we thought he was coming into the year. DeAndre Ayton, yes, has flashed, but we need to remove him from this conversation. Now, I did not do a good job of this at the very beginning of the year, where I went through and I said, hey, after about 2 or 3 weeks of the season, I want DeAndre Ayton as a trade target. But that was wrong for us to do so, and we need to make sure that you are not trading players if you're not even putting DeAndre Ayton in the range of Zach Lavine, who we just went off as a player that can consistently drop 30 points, get up there with 6 rebounds, 8, 9, 10 assists. So please, DeAndre Ayton, understand that he is not what we drafted for him for coming into the season. But let's go over to Jeremy Grant real quick, and let's talk a little bit about this. And I will say, if this was a category format, we would be going with Lavine right away. I mean, Jeremy Grant is playing on a team where there's pretty much no other talent. So opposing defenses can focus in on Grant, and while he can still be productive for you in those points formats because of his raw volume, the efficiency is going to be low. Now, it is closer because here in those points formats, the efficiency doesn't really matter nearly as much. So the difference there between Zach Lavine and Jeremy Grant is a little bit removed. Now, if we're looking at the volume, still Zach Lavine is someone that's also now playing on a more competitive team than Jeremy Grant. So with Grant, he's not exactly the youngest player. I know that he is nothing close to being the Luka Doncic. He's nothing close to going over and being a LeBron James. He's halfway through the middle. But still, he is old enough, and they have him under contract for a very long time where there's no real incentive for them to be playing him 37 minutes a game as they were at the beginning of the year. So because the Pistons are completely out of it, they're just playing for a draft pick at this point. And Zach Lavine is playing on a Bulls team that is kind of trying to make a push. Zach Lavine is a free agent after next season. And maybe they're trying to prove to him that, hey, we can win a playoff series. We can be competitive. You can stay here with Vucevic and have a future. I think Zach Lavine is also going to be playing more games, even with the recent injury suffered. So because of that, we are going to be going with Zach Lavine. Okay, so now let's pull up our next trade. And this one's going to be coming out from Ryan. And he's asking us about another injured player in John Wall for Anthony Davis. Now, the reason I chose this trade was because John Wall is a player that we've been asked a lot about lately. And I know that kind of seems weird. You would expect it to be Anthony Davis. But no, way more people are asking us about John Wall, saying, hey, what should I buy John Wall for? Hey, can I trade John Wall for this? And he's kind of been a polarizing player since the Victor Oladipo trade. Now, I'll say with John Wall and Anthony Davis, obviously injuries are going to be a concern with both players. But we can say that when both players are healthy, one of these guys should be playing back-to-backs for the rest of the year, and the other one will not be. So you throw that in. You also understand that, yes, Anthony Davis has been nothing close to what he was in years past. I mean, he is not going out there getting 11, 12 rebounds a game. He was previously sitting at about 8.5, and he is not driving so much of the offense because I think we can point this to the fact that this team had a very short offseason, the shortest offseason in NBA history. I think it's smart for Anthony Davis to decide to go out there and kind of take a step back and go, you know what, we are blowing teams out by so much, and really we're just resting and coasting for the NBA playoffs, that we don't need to put in 100% effort every single play like we had to do possibly New Orleans when we were trying to prove our worth. We were trying to prove what value we had so we could get out of that situation. So Anthony Davis, I know that he has been disappointing, and I know we don't exactly understand when he is coming back, but still, you have to go with Anthony Davis here by a mile. I mean, when you're looking at John Wall, really nothing is great there. I know that there are a ton of shots to be had in that offense. I know also John Wall is going to be the driving force in that offense, generating assists to go along with this. But overall, Houston is not going to have a single player that comes out here and compares to Anthony Davis, maybe outside of Christian Wood. So no, John Wall, can't even have him in this conversation. Going to be going with Anthony Davis here. All right, so let's get our next trade up here. A trade that we had a player coming off the waiver wire in a video earlier this week. It's going to be Moses Brown and Robert Williams. Robert Williams, also one of the best waiver wire pickups this season. Now here, when we were going to be looking at Moses Brown, yes, we have to admit this is a very exciting player. Like I said in the waiver wire video, 21 years old, 7'2", playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now he's seeing a ridiculous amount of minutes with Al Horford done for the year. To go along with this, we know Moses Brown recently has been destroying it with the rebounds he's been seeing. If you look over the past 14 days in his 7 games played, he's actually averaging close to 14 rebounds a game. So you can get really excited here about Moses Brown. But on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, Robert Williams, equally, if not more exciting for a team that A, is going to be more competitive, even though I guess you could make the argument that Oklahoma City not being competitive helps Moses Brown, but still, with Robert Williams, we also know that he's done this pretty much off of no volume so far. He's done this off of almost all efficiency, where he's playing 24 minutes a game. He's not playing that 30 minutes in the rotation, and he has been highly productive. Now we see the trade with the Celtics at the deadline, and we go, okay, Robert Williams is now going to see an uptick in usage. He's going to see an uptick in minutes. So you have to get excited about him. I think we're going to be going with Robert Williams quite easily, even though I know Moses Brown is someone we want to be watching and we want to be picking up in most formats. If you're playing in a league this shallow, you're going to have to go with Robert Williams. Okay, now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. As always, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all with the video tomorrow.